The AI revolution is here, and people are starting to panic, viewing AI as a threat and potentially losing their jobs to it. But don't be afraid, because AI is not your enemy. It doesn't need to be. Don't view it as a threat. View it more so as a collaborator, as a helper, as a creative partner. Because once you do, you are one step closer to getting ahead of 99% of people right now. In November 30th of 2022, when ChatGPT came out, it reached 1 million users in 5 days. Now, according to Reuters, in February of this year, it reached 400 million active weekly users. Almost everyone knows about ChatGPT at this point and other tools like Claude or Perplexity, which does deep research for you. And those who have gone even deeper into this have, gotten access to tools like Lovable, where they can build apps literally from scratch without knowing how to code, and even using other tools like VoiceFlow, where they build voice AI agents that can literally pick up the phone and do anything that you want, like literally can act like a customer service type of agent. Businesses are starting to use AI to automate what they hate to do and to supercharge what they love to do. Entrepreneurs are learning AI to sell it as a service to these businesses who want to implement AI but don't have time to learn it, which is basically what I do with my AI automation agency, Uptrend Automations. But even if you don't own a business or you're not an entrepreneur, you could still learn how to use AI to improve your life faster than anyone, and that's what I'm about to show you how to do in this video. But before we get into this, I want to go over briefly on prompting and what it is, because without it, all of this is going to be useless, to be honest. Unfortunately, although a lot of people are using ChatGPT, they are not using it to its fullest potential. They ask it basic generic questions like, solve me this math problem, when did World War II end, write me an essay on this topic. And when they get a basic generic response, they think that AI is literally useless and that it's not really as good as people hyped it up to be. Although there's nothing wrong with asking these type of questions to ChatGPT. I mean, if you're asking a basic question that you don't really need that much detail, then of course you're going to ask those type of questions, right? Like if you ask it, like what's 2 times 2? But if you want better responses, better, more detailed responses, then you need to write better prompts. Prompting is basically talking to AI in a special way to get better responses, to get better answers. Think of it like asking your friend for help, but in order to get the best help, you need to give your friend clear instructions, because without clear instructions, then your friend is not going to help you as best as they can. When you use AI, the words that you use to ask a question or to give instructions is what's called prompting. It involves carefully choosing the wording, giving it context, and specifying the desired output that you want to get the best desirable responses. I'm going to make a separate video on prompting and how to get better at it so that you can use AI to its fullest potential. But right now, I just want to go over the basics real quick. You need 3 components in your prompts to get AI to give you better, more desirable responses. 1 is system, 2 is user, and 3 is assistant. Now, this may be confusing to you, especially if this is the first time you're ever hearing about AI or ChatGPT or even what prompting is. So the great way to look at it is system is role, user is the task plus specifics and context, and then assistant is the desired output that you want. The system is the role that you give to the AI. You tell it how it should be or how it should act. It's like giving AI a specific job description or a specific personality. For example, you are a creative writing coach. That is a role that I'm giving to the AI, and the AI is going to act like a creative writing coach. This sets up how AI will respond to everything that you tell it. The user is the task and any specific details or context that you're giving to the AI. You ask questions or you give it instructions in this part. Basically, everyone uses this part of a prompt because whenever you go on like a ChatGPT and you ask it anything, you are basically using the user part of the prompt. You're giving it a task. So for example, so far on the prompt, we have given it a system, which is the role part of the prompt. So we've given the AI a role of you are a creative writing coach. Now it will act that way, but now it needs a task. So in this case, on the user part of a prompt, we're going to give it a task of whatever we want it to do. We could give it a task like write a short story about dragons. I want the dragons to be X, Y, and Z. Your words tells AI exactly what you want it to do. Now, the assistant part of the prompt is the examples that you give it to show what type of output you expect from it. In this part of the prompt, you can include sample Q&As, or you can even model certain responses to guide AI's behavior. So for example, in our prompt, we already gave it a role, which is creative writing coach. We gave it a task, which is to write a short story about the dragons, and we even gave it specific details about what dragons and all that stuff. But now in the assistant part, in the desired output that we want, we can, for example, use a sample Q&A where the Q will be us asking the question and the A will be the AI's response. So we could do a simple one where we ask something like, what's a creative name for a dragon? And then the answer could be Emberclaw, the flame whisperer. This helps the AI better understand how to respond to the task the way you want it. Now, this is just a simple explanation of what prompts are are. But the most important thing to remember about all of this is that if you want AI to give you better, more detailed responses, you need to write better, more effective prompts. But one thing is for sure, if you include all of these three in your prompts, you're going to be doing better than the average person who just gives AI a simple task with no context, no roles, and no desired output, expecting it to give it a phenomenal response. Now we're at a point of this video where you're probably asking yourself, what does this have to do with improving your life? Well, first off, AI is being used by almost everyone, from completing simple tasks to completing complex tasks that literally takes people hours, and AI is literally just getting rid of all of that and is doing it themselves. The world in tech is moving so fast that we're getting to a point where using AI, no matter what it is that you do in life, puts you at a massive advantage compared to those who completely ignore it. AI is going to supercharge whatever it is that you love to do, and it's going to automate the things that you hate to do or the things that consume a lot of time that are low impact. One thing is for sure, if you're starting to use it now the right way, you're gonna get ahead of most people, because AI can solve problems faster, it can make you more organized, it can boost learning and creativity, it can speed up decision making, and a whole lot more. And AI can also be used to improve all areas of your life: health, wealth, connections, and happiness, the fulfilled life that I talk about. But in order to do that, you need to give it correct, effective prompts, because AI simply just does not work without prompting it first, especially prompting it correctly and effectively. And that's why I'm going to give you 3 effective AI prompts that you can use on LLMs like ChatGPT, so that you can improve your life 10 times faster than anyone. Now, before we move on, I do want to point out that you do need an account with ChatGPT in order to do this. So go ahead and sign up to ChatGPT and then come back. And by the way, ChatGPT is free to use. There's a free version, but there also are paid plans to use. I think the lowest one is like $20 a month, but you don't need to pay for that just to do all of this. You can get away with it just to get started using the free version. Now, this first prompt is a game changer, mainly because it's going to help those who are feeling lost in life and have no source of direction, and they have no goals set to work on. Basically what Napoleon Hill calls drifters. If you're drifting in life, this AI prompt is going to help you fix that. Because if you don't have any goals set that you created yourself, then you're basically living an unaligned life. Don't get it confused though. You are still working on a goal, because naturally we are goal-striving human beings. But if you don't know what your goals are, then that means that you're working on goals that someone else put for you, which means that you didn't create them, which is a problem, because you're walking towards a direction that you're going to regret sooner or later because you didn't choose that path. You can't get the time back. So that means that the time that you wasted can never be recovered, which makes the regret even more painful. You need to create your own goals. And if you haven't created a goal, or you haven't even built any systems to help you achieve that goal, then don't worry, because I created an AI prompt that's going to help you do that. I call it the ultimate goal setting coach. So right now we're here in ChatGPT. As you can see, this is how it's going to look like once you sign up. And so we're going to go over the first prompt that I just mentioned. First, let me just put on my glasses, because once you start using a lot of your computer, this is what happens when you start playing a lot of Call of Duty growing up. You just mess up your eyesight, and so now I need to wear glasses when I read and freaking use the computer and everything. So yeah, thank you, Call of Duty. Thank you for being extremely addicting when I was growing up. So as you can see, I have the prompt right here in prompt number 1. This is the self-improvement starter prompt library that I have, which you could get access. Just go down the link and grab it. It's for free. You can grab it for free. And so this is the prompt right here. I call it the ultimate goal setting coach. The purpose is to help you create meaningful goals to add direction in your life. And so this is going to be the prompt right here. When you get this, just copy this and then just go and paste it right here in the chat of the ChatGPT. And so I asked the AI to basically grab inspiration from the book 12-Week Year, because after reading that book, I realized that it's one of the best books when it comes to creating goals and building systems around it, especially when it comes to creating goals and trying to make a lot of progress in a short period of time. And it's actually the system that I use right now to create my own goals. As you can see, this is the role right here. You are a highly skilled 12-week year coach and goal setting expert. This is the role, this is the task that I give me, help create a personalized 12-week year plan by following these steps. And it's going to give you the steps. These are specifics, like these are just added details that I give. And then here are the example parts, right? Here's the assisting part of the role, of the prompt, and then just additional notes that I add at the end, which also helps the AI remember what it is that you want to do, because sometimes AI can get lost if you provide a larger prompt. And so in the notes, you kind of want to go over certain things again. And so this is how it's going to start. I'm just going to go over really shortly how this prompt works. I'm not going to, do my own 12-week year. I already did it, but I'm just going to go over how it will respond to you if you use this, prompt. I'm going to, just give it basic answers. So here we go. So it starts right here. Great. Let's start strong. Step 1, establish your vision. The reason why it's asking me for my vision first before even creating the goals is because I let it know in the prompt that I want a strong, connected, emotionally connected vision. And if I give a vague vision, then I wanted to help me craft a more emotionally connected vision. Because as you guys don't know, when it comes to goal setting, if you're creating goals but you have no vision that is behind those goals, then the goals are basically pointless. Like, you could create goals, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna, find direction in life. You need to have a vision first. And it says right here, your 12-week year begins with a compelling vision. This vision should strong emotionally resonate with you and represent the life that you ultimately want to live. If this is what gives your short-term goals deeper meaning and urgency. So question 1, what is your ultimate vision for life? The kind of life you want to wake up in 5 to 10 years. Describe it vividly, where you live, how you feel day to day, the kind of work that you do, when you spend your time, your lifestyle, health, income. If you're not sure, I help you craft it. So here's where I give it the answer. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time doing this because it's going to take a lot of my time, and it's also going to take a lot of your time watching it, but I'm just going to give it like a basic answer, right? So I'm going to say my vision is to be free in terms of financial freedom. I want to spend my time doing what I enjoy doing. That's just a basic, answer. It has no detail, but obviously you're gonna give it more detail. But let's just see what it responds back with. That's a good start. Let's make it emotionally stronger and more vivid. Follow up. Imagine it's 5-10 years from now, you achieve financial time and location freedom. What does your average day actually look like? Where are you waking up? What are you working on, if anything? Who are you with? How do you feel as you move through the day? You see how it's asking me to be more clear? Because in the prompt, I specifically let it know that I wanted to help me craft my vision. And if I give a vague answer, like with no details and anything, and it feels like it's not strongly emotionally connected, it's going to help me do that. And so that's just an example of this prompt right here. If I go, he's asking me to go deeper. And then once, it crafts my vision, then it's going to ask me on what are my 3 goals that I want to accomplish in the next 12 weeks and all that stuff. So this is just an example of this prompt right here. All you do after putting in this prompt into ChatGPT is answer the questions that it asks you so that it can craft your 12-week year goals. So go ahead and grab this prompt and start using it so that you can find direction in your life and no longer be walking around aimless and drifting. Now, this second prompt is a banger, and here's why. A lot of us encounter problems in our life and then become emotional. And the problem with becoming emotional is that it blinds you from seeing the problem the way it actually is. We tend to exaggerate our problems more bigger. We make it bigger and more scarier than it actually is. Most times the problem that we are facing are not as bad as our minds make it seem. Our minds exaggerates these problems, and then we start to overthink and become emotional, and then we start making dumb decisions. In these situations, we need to try our best to think logically. The problem is that our emotions won't let us. That's where AI can come in and help you by using this prompt. I call it the 180 IQ advisor, and the purpose is to help you solve any issue, problem, or obstacles you're currently facing with logical, strategic thinking, using the wisdom of the greatest thinkers that have ever walked this planet. So we're back into ChatGPT now, and as you can see, I inputted the prompt. Now the role, as you can see right here, is you are a strategic and intelligent 180 IQ advisor with the collective wisdom of the history's greatest minds. So that means that it has the IQ of 180. And here's the task. Help me solve problems using the following step-by-step process. Listen carefully to the problem that I present. Ask clarifying questions if the problem is unclear or lacks sufficient detail. Break down the problem in its core components and identify the root causes. Call out my blind spots. Draw upon the wisdom, ideas, and worldviews of history's greatest thinkers to analyze the problem. 6. Present multiple logical approaches to solving the problem. Guide me through implementing the most suitable solution, and then provide ongoing support and refinement as I work through the solution. So here's the specifics, the context, here's the examples, and then the notes at the end. So here's how it responds. Understood. I'm ready to serve as your strategic thinking partner. Present your first problem when you're ready, and we'll begin step by step. So I'm just going to go over shortly again an example of how I would do this or how you could use it. So I'm just going to make up a problem like, let's say I want to move to a different state, but I'm scared of, what would happen. Let me just say that's a problem, right? So I want to move to another state, but I am afraid of doing so, and I don't know why. So here's what it says. Thank you for sharing that. Let's start by examining the emotion behind your hesitation. First question, when you imagine actually making the move, packing, leaving, arriving in a new state, what's the first feeling that arises? Not just fear, but what kind of fear? Fear of regret, fear of uncertainty, fear of failure, fear of loneliness. So let me just say fear of uncertainty, because I'm pretty sure that's something that a lot of people face when they're thinking of moving, but they don't because they're just scared of what's going to happen after. So I'm just going to put fear of uncertainty and fear of failure and fear of failure, because I'm pretty sure people are scared of moving because they're scared of making a bad decision and ending up with regret. And so I can also put that, and fear of regret. You're already seeing clearly. Those are 3 distinct fears. Let's isolate them. Next question. Which of these 3 fears feels the heaviest? The one that grips you the most when you hesitate to move? Is it 1, the uncertainty of what life will look like? 2, the possibility of failing in the new environment, financially, socially? Or 3, the regret of making the wrong choice and wishing you stayed? Which one has the strongest emotional pull? So let's see. Let me just make up the uncertainty of the possibility of failing. Let me just put 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Yeah, as you can see, it's coming with the answer. Now we're getting to the root. Let's focus on 2, fear of failure first. This fear usually implies an internal belief, often unspoken. Next question. If you failed after moving, whatever that means to you, what story would you tell yourself about who you are? So as you can see, it starts to go deeper into the root problem of why it is that you're scared of moving, right? This is just an example of a problem that probably people face, but whatever problem you give it that you're facing, like, oh, I'm scared of starting a YouTube channel, what should I do? Or I'm scared of starting a business, I'm scared of, doing something new, or going out and socializing, or whatever it may be. It will help you solve that problem. It will get to the root. It will use the wisdom of the greatest thinkers like Socrates or whatever, and then it will come up with an answer that's logical so that you can combat and solve the problem. Go ahead and use AI with this prompt to help you solve complex problems and make better decisions while also thinking logically. Now, this third and final prompt is for those out there who suck at productivity. Whenever you feel distracted or feel like you can't focus, you're gonna do one of 2 things. You're either gonna read a productivity book, or you're gonna go on YouTube and watch a video about productivity. The problem is that this not only takes a lot of time, but you're gonna end up going through a rabbit hole of videos on productivity, and you're gonna think that you're being productive because you're learning about productivity. What if you prompt AI to act as the ultimate productivity coach that has the knowledge of the greatest productivity books, the top productivity books of all time, and can give you a solution much quicker? That's what this third prompt does, and I call this prompt the flow state assistant. Basically, it's going to be someone that you have by your side that's going to help you by providing solutions or steps that you can take to enhance or to basically get into the flow state. It has the knowledge and the wisdom of the greatest thinkers when it comes to productivity, and it has all the knowledge of the top productivity books out there, books like Deep Work and Flow. So we're gonna paste this right here in the ChatGPT again. As you can see, this is the role. You are a world-class productivity mastery coach with deep expertise in focus techniques, time management, and personal effectiveness. You possess the combined wisdom of history's greatest productivity minds and have thoroughly studied seminal works like Deep Work by Cal Newport, Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I can't even get her. Sometimes I forget how to say the name. Those are really good, productivity books that I'm pretty sure anybody who has ever been interested in improving their productivity, I'm pretty sure they have all read that book. As you can see, the task right here is help the user overcome productivity and focus challenges by following this systematic approach. And this is the steps that I give it. And then the specifics, the context, and the examples. So it responds by saying, great, let's start by narrowing in on your current productivity challenge. What specific area are you struggling with the most right now? For example, staying focused on one task for long periods, procrastinating on important work. Let's just make up an example of a problem like most people have, right? Which is checking their phone. I have a problem with checking my phone every 5 minutes while I am doing work. It is extremely frustrating and man, why can't I type? Got it. Constant phone checking every 5 minutes is a compulsive loop issue that kills momentum and fragments your focus. Let's break it down. So as you can see, it's going to start asking me questions like when during the days does this happen the most? What type of work are you doing when it happens the most? So let me just say, while I am doing my work on my computer. That's a cognitively demanding skill and exactly the type that requires long uninterrupted focus. Next question is dig deeper. What exactly you're checking on your phone? Be specific. Instagram, Discord, notification sets when you reach your phone. Is it triggered by boredom, uncertainty, or just a habit? Are we trying to stop this? No, I haven't tried anything, and I go on Instagram constantly. Perfect. This tells me that this is a habit-driven dopamine loop with no friction in place. Here's a step-by-step action plan rooted in deep work, atomic habits, and indistractable. Root cause. Your brain is trained to seek a dopamine hit from Instagram when work is hard, uncertain, or boring. This is since there's zero resistance, the habit wins every time. And then it gives me a step-by-step fix right here. Make phone access hard. You see, it gives me a lot of step-by-step cue craving. This is what this prompt is going to do for you. It's going to give you a step-by-step plan to help you improve your productivity. Obviously, the answers that I gave it were really vague and not really specific or detailed, but you're going to give it specific detailed responses, and in that case, it's going to give you better responses. Remember, if you want better responses from AI, you need to write better prompts. Even after you copy and paste these prompts into an LLM like ChatGPT, you still need to give it better responses, which is the user part of your response, right? Like whenever the AI gives you back a response, you need to give it a better response as well in order to get a better response from it again. Aside from these prompts that I just went over in this video, I'm going to give you 3 additional AI prompts that you can use to improve the quality of your life. I'm going to put them together with 3 that I just went over in this video, which means you're going to get 6 AI prompts in total, and I call it the Self-Improvement Starter Prompt Library. You can get it down below for free. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or just a person working a 9-to-5 job, you need to start using AI in order to get ahead of the curve. Just like how people neglected social media when it was first starting to come out, and now everyone is using social media, the same thing is going to happen with AI. Right now, there's people who are neglecting it, and only a few people are taking advantage of it. But then eventually we're going to get to the point where everybody's going to be using AI. Those who start using it early are going to reap huge rewards. And you can start now by using these AI prompts to start improving the quality of your life faster than anyone. But anyways, that's all I got to say. I'm out.